So this is where we're going to kind of finish the podcast today because I have to go to work and be a slave to the man.
And we're probably going to piss people off with this one, too.
Well, we always piss people off. For some reason, there's always someone. But so I don't really follow too many skateboard publications anymore, but I do follow Jenkem Mag, and they had a great article on the state of brick and mortar industry, what we could potentially do, how the skate industry approaches it. Because the skate industry and the snow industry, regardless of what people think, are actually intrinsically tied together. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of the same mindsets that go into it. And having friends that own shops, have seen their shops go under, having worked for a shop that went under, and I basically saved it from bankruptcy, and then they were able to close down without debt, stuff like this. Like, it's something that, and I always see the same thing regardless of industry, but how these shops think. It's like they're like a flamingo or an ostrich with its head in the sand. Mm-hmm. They just don't want to see the change. Like, you need to fully adapt. If you have no internet presence, you have fucking already lost. Yeah. And I love how people's argument is, well, we have to spend all this money for e-commerce. So I was like, have you never heard of Squarespace? Mm-hmm. It's not that hard. Wix. Fiverr. You can literally hire someone for $5 to program a website for you. It's not hard. No. Everything has gotten so much intrinsically easier. It's easier than it was a year ago. It's easier than it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago. And the fact that I see people still trying to argue with, well, the brands don't support us. You want to know why the brands don't fucking support you? Because you don't pay your fucking bills on time. Yeah. But what's better for them? To hound you for 9 months to get that $20,000 order, or to just say fuck it and sell $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 one-time pop to this guy and then wait 2 years? It's easier in the long run to do this.
Yeah, and Amazon's a big evil giant, whatever, but you know what? They pay their bills up front.
They do.
Sorry.
It's this vicious cycle. People wonder why a brand goes out of business. Well, they put too much credit on the shop. They gave too much credit, and the shop doesn't pay, and then the shop folds, and then they go under. It's this whole circle of credit and giving people the ability to not pay or holding them accountable. It's like I see it even with factories where they're just licensing, or they're just issuing credit to everyone, and then they don't get paid on their terms and stuff like that. And it's like, you have to hold people accountable. Yeah. And the skate industry, they're seeing a little bit of contraction with core shops. And the big argument I always see is, this is going to hurt our local scene. Oh, okay. It's going to hurt it because it went out of business. All right. Well, why did it go out of business? Why did your locals not sustain you? Right. Why did you not branch past your locals? Mm-hmm. Like, I look at the community of Angry. Angry still exists 10 years later, not because of everyone I know here in Summit County. Right. It exists because of everyone around the world wanting it to exist. I leverage, I personally have leveraged so much globally on this that does it. It's funny how many people here don't know what I do, and I'm happy with that. I am so fucking happy with that. It's fine. But when you're at a local shop and all you're thinking is, well, we're the only thing around and people are going to come, you're dead already. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I've worked corporate. You work corporate store. I've worked core shops. Mm-hmm. It's I've seen everything and how it's done, and from big to small, multi-billion-dollar companies to shops that if they made $200,000, $300,000 a year, they were doing well. And it blows my mind to see how people just keep regurgitating the same ideas. And like this argument, this is a similar argument I've had a year ago. Mm-hmm. I think we did an original podcast a year and a half ago.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. I talked about this state of the brick and mortar and what they need to do or do not do. And yeah, the one that I found interesting in this whole thing, like because basically they asked a bunch of shops, what are you doing to try to garner more business, or what do you think the industry needs to do to help you, basically, is what the questions really were. And I was kind of surprised how many of them basically just said decks are too cheap.
Oh, like skate decks.
Yeah, the skate decks are just too cheap and the margins aren't good enough, blah, 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 blah. And then all these big companies can buy, like Amazon can buy 2,000 of that one deck when I can only buy 30 of them, so I'm only going to get this kind of discount versus Amazon to get this kind of discount, blah, 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 blah.
It's the same thing with snowboards. It really is like...
Congratulations. Stop trying to base your business off decks. Find somewhere else to make your money.
Well, that too. And like, so snowboard decks, we started to see that price increase in the last 3 years. Slowly.
Right.
But if you look at snowboards compared to skis, it's still cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
Like, drastically cheaper. Like, like an entry-level pair of ski boots is $300 to $400.
Right. Skis have actually started to come down. Your average price of skis, 10 years ago was $700 or something like that.
Yeah.
Now you can get a really good pair of skis for, you still can get some stuff in the $700-800 range, but you can get a pretty dang solid set of skis for $450, $500. So you can get good skis now in that price range, but where a lot of that image comes from skiing too is that snowboarding never did that I kind of wish they had was the MSRP versus map.
Oh, yeah.
Skiing always had that, where the MSRP, just like a car basically. You see a car and its full price is X, but you're never going to pay that. You're never going to pay that.
No.
Same thing with the ski industry. Where you go in, you see a pair of whatever skis, and the retail on them is $850. Well, you're going to be paying $580 for them.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to pay $850 for them. You're going to pay $600 for those. Like, but they built that margin in there so that the shop can sell it at a discount. And it's not something you can do retroactively, unfortunately. So, like, the skate industry can't really do that. But kind of like I was saying, and there's a couple shops in this article that are starting to try to do other stuff. There's one shop that has an espresso bar in the front of it.
Right.
It's a great idea. There's better margins on that.
Stevens Pass Snowboard Shop has a coffee shop inside it.
Boom. You're going to get people coming into your shop now for the coffee or espresso instead of just skate stuff. And not to mention, like, these guys are griping about decks and hard goods and all that kind of stuff. And, great, it was still a corporate spot, but I worked at Zoomies over a decade ago, and shoes. That's where all of the money was.
Oh, yeah.
Shoes. So, fucking sell more shoes. How hard is that? Like, I mean, sure, maybe it's just easier to say than whatever, but, like, just start carrying more shoes. Well, push your business that direction. Cut down how many decks you carry. When the kid starts to complain, be like, cool, where'd you buy your last deck? And when he says, oh, I bought it on Amazon, you go, cool, this is how many decks I got now. I got lots of shoes, though. Because you know what people will have a hard time buying online? Footwear, because you got to try it on.
True.
So,
and I don't know. To me, like, to see people still having the same argument, the same response, here we are 20 years in with online shopping now, it blows my mind. I remember being 16, 17, talking with the local shop and being like, so what are you guys doing for online? Like, oh, we put some stuff on eBay. And I was like, you don't have a website? You don't? And I was like, okay, well, why don't you sell more stuff on eBay? Well, it's just too much of a hassle. And I was like, you could liquidate your product. I can remember coming in the next year and being like, you still have like 70 snowboards from last year. Why aren't you selling them? And the one that blows my mind is like when I'm in a shop and they've got like an old model and I'll be like, really? You're only going to mark it down 20%? And I'll be like, I can get this for $40 online. Like, Evo has a great model. They started online and then did brick and mortar.
Right.
And they keep expanding. Like, I guess they're going to open one in Whistler.
Okay.
And I was like, that's sick. That's what I heard. So I was like, oh, yeah. Evo Canada. But Evo as a whole, like, is such a good site to just buy stuff from and how they do things and how they interact. And it's like these people that have no online presence. So I was talking with Crowbar about one of the shops in Vermont that's local to him, Darkside, and it's like their website just looks like it fell out of 1998. It's got links to other companies that they sell, but you can't buy direct, and it's not hard to make an e-commerce site anymore. There are so many ways to do it. Like, I've looked at it for us, for Angry, and like even I'm just running stuff on Big Cartel. I pay $9 a month. That thing fucking pays for itself. I just load up a bunch of stickers and like, if I sell one sticker pack a month, it pays for itself.
Right.
And I make a profit.
Yeah.
And this blows my mind to see that we're still in this age where people still have this argument of, well, this used to work in the past. Who gives a fuck if it worked in the past? What's working now? Nothing. You're fucking going out of business. The other thing is like this weird cycle of like I was talking about with the credit thing where shops can't pay, so the brands can't pay, so they can't pay their factory. So it's like it's just this trickle down effect of. I think a lot of it is overproduction too. I think a lot of places we've talked about doing Angrysnowboarder boards. Those would be limited run. Extreme. Like when they're gone, they're fucking gone. I'm not ordering more. Like I'm gonna be like, nope, I paid for it. That's done. And I know, like thinking about which factories I was gonna go with, I was like, okay, I just need to know the price. I'm gonna pay up front. They have no stress. That way, I know the shit's gonna ship. Like they've been paid. We're getting our stuff. We're good.
Yep.
And then we can sell it. And then if we don't sell it, that's on us. But I just can't get over the fact that these people sit around and cry. And it's like, it always comes back to, well, we got to preserve the culture. The culture has changed. Like, everyone's moved to the online. Like, you can have a bigger community online than you can have locally. Like, you look at Snowboard Pro Camp and the community that they have, and how big that is, and how supported those guys are. Or like I see it now, 10 years after. Like I was there at the forefront of snowboard blogging. Did it. Transitioned to a website, information site, and now I'm coming into YouTube a little bit later than everyone else, but it's still like I'm just getting in just early enough. For us, like you can see it. It's not an oversaturated market. Yeah. But you come in there, the YouTube community that we have right now is so much more supportive than the angry community was for the website 3 years ago. We get more interaction and more people are like, hey, I heard you saying you might be coming to Utah. Let me know. I can get you tickets to this mountain, or if you need a place to stay or this. And I'm like, well, I'm probably not going to stay with you because you'll kill me. But I'll totally take free lift tickets. Yeah. And you see that, or like the guys that reached out to us for Can't Come and Cover, we're like, oh, I've got this board, I can send that to you, I can do this. Like, I'd love to work with you guys.
We would have never gotten that kind of interaction or support 3 years ago.
Right. You know how hard I tried to get. I know 3 people in this town that have a Mini. None of them would let me borrow it. None of them. And thankfully, 2 of our supporters happened to like have one between them, and they were willing to sell it to us for cheap. Yeah. Like, I consider that a freaking win.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's you want to foster community? Find where your community is and foster it. Like, I feel like we've fostered a community that can create interaction. Like, I was so proud last night. I got home from work, scrolling through the comments because I got a bunch of notification emails, and I scroll through and I find one where 3 different guys were on a thread. I think it was the Union Strata review or something, and these guys were all talking about different bindings, and they weren't even asking for my advice or your advice. They were just talking to each other, and it was like, that's what I wanted to see. Those guys are communicating with each other. They don't need me for anything. Like, if they need to, they'll tag me. But that is clutch to me to see that like that and see how that's growing.
Yeah, and that's like, and then the brand identity and the brand cohesiveness, and that's the one other thing that I saw out of this article that one of the other shops was doing is they're selling their own branded merch, and they're trying to create a shop brand.
Yes.
And not just a shop brand of things. Not just to sell things with their name on it, but to try to create like an actual shop culture of like cultural brand.
Right.
And I mean, that's the other piece to do it is like Milo. Yeah. Milo's never going to have, well, I mean, I guess I won't say never, but as long as they're not retarded, they'll never have an issue because they're Milo. Like, they're the shop.
Yeah.
Realistically. And I've been in there, and nothing they carry is anything special. It's just the fact that they're Milo.
They're Milo. People shop there. Yeah.
Like, so you do the same thing. If you're a skate shop and you're worried about going under, make your shop a brand.
Well, that's the thing. And it's funny you mentioned Milo because literally right next door is Salty Peaks.
Yeah.
If I have to choose when I'm in Salt Lake, which of those 2 I'm going to go to,
Milo.
It is Milo every time. I do not like going to Salty Peaks because there's like 9,000 cameras on there, and I screw with Dennis every time I go in there because if I see his vehicle with all the propaganda out front, I go in and start picking things up and moving around the store and setting them down in weird spots and then picking them up because I know he's watching me on the cameras and it's fucking freaking his OCD out. But Salty Peaks it's like them and Milo. And it's like, I will go to Milo every time. Like, I remember, I can remember so many different times just walking into Milo, and it would be someone I knew, like, barely. But I knew him from snowboarding. They'd be like, you're Avron from Angrysnowboarder. I was like, yeah, and you're so-and-so, and you were in this movie this year. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, he's like, you need anything? And I was like, nah, man, I'm just going to look around, wander around. And, sometimes I buy something, sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. Like, that store has a cultural reference, but it's a brand in itself,
mm-hmm.
And that it's not tied to any one thing, and that's such a difference. It's kind of like the, how you see the Christie Sports out here in the stores and everything, and then you see the Powder Tools, which is their snowboard stores thing, but like Powder Tools and Steamboat. I know people that don't even know that's owned by Christie's that have been shopping there for years. They're like, no, it's just a good core shop. And I was like, you never realized, like, that it's all tied together?
Owned by the same company that sells patio furniture in the summer.
Hey, you know what, though? They do, man. I'll sell patio. I worked for them and sold patio furniture.
Oh, it's
great money in patio furniture. But you know what? If that supplements your income so your pay stays the same to go back to 9 months of selling ski and snowboard equipment, so be it.
And that's the other thing is, if you're in an area where your skate shop makes 75% or more of its business in the summer months, then you need to figure out what to do in the winter so that you can supplement that. So you're not relying on a seasonal business. That's going to kill you.
Oh, yeah. I don't have all the answers for retail, and I have no problem talking to shops to tell them what they can do. But like, one of the big ones that blows my mind is when I talk to them about what an affiliate program is. They look at me like I'm retarded. It's like, you sell online, right? Yeah. So you sell online. Okay. Why don't you have an affiliate program? What's that? Then I explained it to him, and I was like, you sign up for this, and basically I become a salesman for your shop. So last month, moved $27,000 worth of product. $27,000. That is not a tiny amount by any means. You and I moved that just through YouTube, Angrysnowboarder.com.
Mm-hmm.
We did a lot of business for Evo like that. Made 18% commission or whatever it was. That's fine. Literally, all they're doing on their back end is uploading photos of the product, the description, signing up for the program, and then this company, AventLink, does all the code and stuff for that.
Mm-hmm.
And all we do is, like, at the bottom of the review on the website is a little widget where it's got the photo and where you can buy it and the price. And at the bottom of videos like this on YouTube or even the podcast, there's a link. And at that link, you click that link and you buy it, we get paid.
Yeah.
And literally, you're getting a free salesman. Like, on our level, you're essentially
it's pro bono. You're not paying us unless we make money for you.
Yeah, and you're getting all this knowledge and this community for fucking free.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And I wish more people would grasp onto that. And it blows
my... Because that first time somebody bought, affiliate links to some local shop that has an online presence.
Yeah.
And they buy something through that shop. And they're scrolling through there because they're not just going to go there, click it, and go directly to their cart. They're probably going to look around a little bit on your website. So you're going to look at some other stuff. They're going to be like, oh, dang, they carry a lot of rad shit that I really like.
Yeah.
Well, they might come back to your website the next time. And then if they're ever geographically in your area, they might stop in. Boom, suddenly your business is starting to increase. Suddenly you're starting to build a brand around your own shop. Like,
and you're doing that. And that's why I think it's key that shops, like, I would love to work with more little shops.
Yeah.
If I could get them into an affiliate program where we could do it. And the sad thing is there's these other affiliate programs out there like Pepper Jam and shit that are just god-awful.
Mm-hmm.
They don't work. But AventLink is the best one I've discovered so far. And the payouts are consistent. Like, I never worry about a paycheck from them. I'm just like, 25th. That thing's in my bank account on the 26th.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and you look at it. But I would love to work with more shops. I would love to be able to be like, yeah, I could roll into a shop and be like, if I'm in an area and be like, hey, can I grab this board, and this board for review from your demo fleet? And be like, cool, I'm going to have them for the next 3 days. I'll drop them off on my way out of town. And just be like, boom, done it. And then be like, yeah, okay, you can buy it through these guys' website.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like that. So, I use Backcountry, The House, Evo, REI.
Yep.
And I make a paycheck.
Yeah.
For both of us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's key. Like, we're getting paid. And people can hate on it all they want, but for years I tried to do stuff with local shops, and I was like, oh, no, I'll give you discounted advertising, I'll do this, I can do this. And they just look at you like you're retarded. And they have no concept. And it just we end up in the same argument over and over again in the same discussion. Mm-hmm. And I guarantee you in a year, we're going to have the same discussion again.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it again.
In a year.
And so, the answer that all the little shops always want to give is that consumers need to stop buying online and shop local, and that the big brands need to stop hooking up the big online shops and hook them up instead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Maybe if you paid your fucking bills on time.
Yeah.
Maybe if this, and this. Like, I understand these things, but it's I used to be one of those guys that would shame the consumer and be like, you need to shop local, you need to do this. I'm like,
sure, I did too. Absolutely.
We all did. Now I'm just like, buy wherever you want.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. I'm going to give you the advice you need. Hopefully you can find it through an affiliate program that I've got so we make a sale. If you can't, it blows my mind, like with Boot Fit Month, how many people have hit me up and be like, I have no boot fitters, there's no local shop, or I went to my local shop and they were saying this, and this, and I was like, that's the wrong advice.
Yeah.
Like, those guys don't know what they're talking about. Mm-hmm. And I have people that come here on vacation because
that's the other one as far as that goes. That I'm sure I mentioned this when we talked about this last year. If you're a shop, don't hire your local ripper unless he actually knows what the fuck he's doing. The amount of times that you go into a shop and the kid behind the counter is just some bra that's a really good snowboarder, really good skater, but is an asshole, isn't a good salesman, and doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground when it comes to freaking tech or gear. That doesn't help you at all.
No.
Like, sure, give that kid a shop sponsor because, yeah, he's a good skater and maybe he's got a shit ton of followers on Instagram or something and he might be able to promote your brand that way, but don't give him a job. Give people jobs that are going to sell you stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that's who you should be hiring. I'm not the best snowboarder out there, but I sell a ton of snowboards. Like,
I'm too old to be the best snowboarder.
Yeah, like,
I'm geriatric.
Oftentimes the best salesmen are not the best snowboarders or skaters.
No.
They know how to hustle, though.
I tell you what.
And if you can get lucky that you find somebody that's an absolute ripper of a skater and is a good salesman and a good employee, awesome, sick, good for you. But don't just hire your local ripper.
No.
That's not going to help you.
No, it's not. It's
because then you just get vibed out. Like the kid that walks in that's been skating for 3 months that is intimidated by the industry because, let's face it, it's intimidating. Like, he's going to walk in, he's going to get vibed out by that kid because that local ripper is just looking down on this kid. Like, who the fuck are you? You're coming in here wearing your Vans that you bought at Famous Footwear that aren't real Vans. Or, they're not skate Vans, and you're just wearing whatever, and you're wearing a Walmart t-shirt, like, and he's going to look down on that kid, and then that kid's not going to keep skating, and then you just lost a customer. You just lost 10 pairs of shoes over the next 5 years. You just lost how many decks over the next 5 years. You just lost how many wheels, how many trucks, how much hardware, grip, all of that. Like, you just lost all that because your shitty shop kid vibed that little 9-year-old out.
It's okay. I vibe kids out all the time. But they don't usually know who I am or what I do.
Yeah.
But this is why I tell people I don't like to ride the chairlift with them or talk to them. I'm just like, I'm going to go do different things.
Yeah.
But I know where my line is. But I've been vibed out in shops, and it always blows my mind.
Yeah, it makes me upset. Like,
or my personal favorite was, I was in Seattle. This shop's out of business now. What was it? They had 2 locations. They had one in Bellevue, too. But they used to be under the viaduct there. What was the name of it? It doesn't matter. I went in there looking for a specific boot, and I had specific needs for my feet. And I told the guys, like, it's got to be this size. It's got to have this, and this. What do you have in the back? He comes out with a boot 3 sizes too big, and I looked at it. I was like, that's not going to fit me. No, it'll fit you, dude. Yeah, it'll fit me, but it's not going to fit me. And he kept arguing with me, and I looked at him and finally just said, you're a fucking moron. And he was just, whoa, man, you don't need to vibe me out. And I was like, you already vibed me out. Taking my business elsewhere. Go fuck yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I fucking love it when I go into a core shop, use that term loosely.
Yeah.
And they try to vibe me out. I'm like, really? I know more than you. It was almost as good as that kid today at Concord. That was funny. That was so cute.
That was
we were in the lift line on Union Creek to go up to the park, and Torstein was in front of us with like Josh Carriola, and I think Sean Murphy was there, and a few other local guys that I know, and this kid just like, hey, can I get on with you guys? We're like, yeah, whatever, it's a quad. So Kevin and I are sitting there, and we're just talking, and the guy looks at us, and he goes, you know who that is over there? And I was like, no, who is it? And
he says, hey, do you guys know who Torstein Horgmo is? And both of us just go, no, I never heard of him.
And
he keeps just like,
So he gets a little quiet. Then he's like, he's a really ripping snowboarder and he's pro. And I was like, nah, never heard of him. I was like, is he a famous poker player? I should have said Fortnite. That just really...
that would have been so much better.
Is he like Ninja on Fortnite?
Yeah.
Just screw with him. But this guy was like just trying to talk to us and finally...
And then about 30 seconds after you said that, he goes, you guys are screwing with me, aren't you? Yep. Yeah, we are. Yeah. We did that.
But I was just like, it's cute that you're doing that, and I get where you're coming from. But if you had been listening to the conversation we were having, you'd realize we know a lot more than you.
Yeah.
Like... my favorite was one time I was at Keystone, so that'll tell you how long ago that was. And I'm going up the chairlift with this kid, and I'm trying not to talk to him, and he's talking at me and just running his mouth. And finally, I'd like take my headphone nuts off, and I'm like, "Are you talking to me?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I was going to ask you like where the sick backcountry is here on the mountain." I was like, "Well, there is none because you're at a ski resort." And then he's like looks down and he sees my board, and he's like, "Oh, Never Summer. I love Never Summer bindings." I look at him, I was like, "Well, they don't make bindings." "No, they do, man." And I was like, No, they don't. You're a fucking idiot." And I just wanted to be like, "Shut the fuck up, Donnie. Just shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're doing. You're out of your element, Donnie."
Yeah.
And pull a Walter on him. And this is what I encounter. And it blows my mind when I see people that try to tell me things. And I'm like, well, you're wrong. And you don't know what you're talking about. Like, I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong, because I've hit that point in my life where I'm just like, oh, okay, yeah, probably I'm wrong. But some of these people that, like, you snowboard. You're not a snowboarder. You snowboard. There's a difference. And there are people that are snowboarders that can snowboard. And there are people that snowboard that are snowboarders. And there's that weird overlap. And sometimes you get that. But you have to know how to cross the lines to talk to people. Like, when I worked corporate retail, I could bro down with the best of them and be like, "Oh yeah, man, did you hit the wall ride at Keystone? And like, what's going on? Oh, you're hitting big line at Breck for sure." And I could talk with them and do that. And then I get like the guy from Nebraska that's just like, "Oh, I'm just looking to cruise girl." I'm like, "Yeah, man, this is really easy to engage." And that's one of the things that's translated to like how we do the product reviews and how we talk tech is you have to break it down to the most basic level so that everyone can understand it. But like the core guy is still stoked. And then, like, the non-core guy is stoked and do that. I'm not going to lie. I will vibe you out in person. I don't like people.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't.
I'm a little more friendly.
You are the friendly one out of the two of us.
For sure.
But whoever replaces me, because my days are numbered, being the face angry and I'm going to run behind and do things, they need to know how to talk to everyone and, like, do everything right. But speaking of talking to everyone, I do want to do a meetup. I know we've talked about this so many times. So I'm going to check the schedule this week, see what Saturday we can do something at Copper. I want to do it at Copper, do a little meetup. That way, any of you guys on the Icon Pass, which hopefully you've listened to this podcast, you bought a season pass, or if you're out at Copper, we can all meet up, go make some hot laps, just mob the mountain, have a little ruckus, maybe ollie some slow signs, piss off. Ruckus. Fucus? Ruckus. And, ollie some slow signs, hit some side hits, and maybe lap the dad park or something, have some fun, and then get tacos. You're paying for our tacos, though.
Yep, you're paying for our tacos.
Yeah, but we want to do something
for the privilege of being in our presence, you have to pay our tacos.
But that's kind of where I want to end the podcast this month. We're going to try to do another one here real soon. Hopefully, this was supposed to be December, but holidays, and I had to drive cross country. That was a 21-hour drive and whatnot. Just didn't work out. You got anything to add, Kevin?
No, I don't think so. I mean, if you're new to this, check out Angrysnowboarder VIP. We make money where we can, but that's definitely the best way if you guys want to support this channel, support Angrysnowboarder. It's the best way to support us. And, those projects that you really like to see us do that are just a lot of our reach, that's how they're going to come within our reach is with
we're going to go a whole route of fan funding everything. And so we're not a slave to any advertiser, so we can do what you want. I got some good content coming out this month. We're working on some stuff. I'm going to try to do some more stuff. Try to do more explained videos. Randy's going to try to make a comeback here. We're going to do what you guys want. We're going to keep snowboarding kooky. I don't really care, man. Yeah. I really just don't give a fuck. We'll have some more apparel dropping in March. We're working on that. Sticker Club's getting some new stickers. Probably going to do a different sticker envelope of all slap stickers instead of die cuts. So if you've been to Angrysnowboarderstore.com, swing over there in a couple days, maybe a week or so, and I'll have some more unique sticker options up there. That's kind of everything we got going on. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications, and we'll see you guys in another video.
Yes, we will.